Okay, let's start the session. So, hello everyone. So, on behalf of ZILLIONe Business Solutions, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to the latest Sage 300 webinar series. So, before we begin, we would like to thank all participants for joining the session today, and we appreciate you taking your time on, especially this busy schedule. And I hope you all are safe during these uncertain times. So, by introduction, my name is Stefan Vijayaratna, and I'm here with my account management team along with our senior manager Danushka De Silva, who will be involved in answering your questions, and John Fernando, who will be presenting and conducting the demonstration. So we have a lot to cover today, and also, we do have a little bit of a mix of attendees today. So those who have never used Sage, those who have never used Sage 300 before, and those who are on the old version, and also we see some who are looking for an upgrade. So as a result, today's session, we will focus on the topics such as we will provide a detailed overview of how the product has evolved over the years since its inception, a high-level explanation on the old version in comparison to the latest versions and its features, and a brief explanation on the steps that need to be followed when upgrading, and also a high-level demo, the latest features of Sage, and some of the useful add-ons which are compatible with the latest versions of Sage. We will also talk about the hardware capabilities and in terms of the specifications, the recommendations of the Sage latest version. So as a matter of fact, we anticipate an extremely fruitful session by giving a detailed justification of basically why you should upgrade your Sage landscape to the latest version and its capabilities and how you can reap the benefits out of it. So just before we start, a couple of quick pointers to everybody. Firstly, we will be recording this session. And secondly, if you do have any questions at any point through the session, please make a note of it and feel free to post it via Teams on the right-hand comment section. And all your questions will be answered at the end of the presentation and demonstration. Well, for those of you who might not be aware, let me just give a brief overview of our company, ZILLIONe Business Solutions, and our corporate profile. So we've been in the business for almost 42 years, and we established ourselves in 1979. And we consider ourselves as the front runner in technology, in the technology sphere in Sri Lanka, as well as within the Asian Pacific region. We also provide enterprise technology applications and solutions through, and we are recognized by our clients in terms of providing a multitude of exceptional solutions. And in terms of our service, we serve multiple clients in diverse markets, in diverse industries, and in diverse locations. So basically, in a nutshell, we provide a large scale software development projects to our clients. And as of our group, our turnover is an excessive of 1 billion rupees. So moving on, as for our locations, our head office is located in Sri Lanka, and we have an office in Australia, Maldives, and Fiji, where we support most of our clients from. And in the last couple of years, you can see that in terms of Sage alone, we have been able to excel within the industry and within its region. So we've been awarded as the top partner of Sri Lanka and Maldives in 2018, and the top marketing excellence partner in 2018 as well, and the top excellence partner in 2019. And as of last year, we became the top excellence partner in Sri Lanka in terms of Sage services we are providing. So moving on, we have over 400 clients in the last 42 years, and well, these are just few notable brands in terms of the service we provide and our portfolio. I believe you might be familiar with a few of our brands here. So these are basically our brands. And well, with that being said, I will now pass it on to John Fernando, our senior business consultant, uh, to take you through the presentation and demonstration. Thank you. Over to you, John.
Lovely. Thanks a lot, Stefan. Thanks a lot for that introduction. And a very warm welcome to all of you who have taken your time to attend today's session as well. So let's move on. So yes, in terms of Sage 300, I think most of you are aware of Sage 300. As Stefan mentioned, there's a mixed audience today. Some of those who have used Sage 300, some of those who are using some of the older versions of Sage 300. So today's session would take you through a few of the milestones that Sage 300 has covered through the years, as well as how the new features and functionality that have been introduced in some of the latest versions of Sage 300. So in terms of the milestones, so as you would know, Sage started off as Easy Business Systems in 1976. Then in 1983, it was converted into a DOS solution, and then from that point on, it continued to grow, where it became Sage 300. It was known as the ACCPAC solution, and then in 1994, ACCPAC arrived onto the Windows desktop version, and ACCPAC introduced as a new multi-tiered system in 2001. And then in 2004, the British public listed software firm called Sage acquires ACCPAC. So I think most of you would be familiar of Sage as Sage known as Sage ACCPAC, or some of you all would have even used ACCPAC during the initiation of the product as well. But now Sage 300 has been renamed. So let's move on. So in 2012 again, it was the brand was officially retired from ACCPAC and it was named as Sage 300. Since then, the product has grown immensely. It has introduced HTML5 based web screens as well in 2016. Then in 2019, the development of Sage web screens. So it's continuing to grow. And then the new some of the new features in terms of the payroll functionality and the time cards were introduced in 2020, and now we're in 2021, where we have an overall hybrid solution which can be accessed via any browser or device. So this has been the growth over the last 30 odd years. Sage has grown immensely, but one thing we need to remember that Sage still has its core foundation and the core accounting principles that have been embedded within Sage 300 from the very beginning, from the days of the ACCPAC time. So speaking of the evolution of Sage, just to browse through these screens as well. So you could remember back in the day, Sage was actually on a DOS era from 1976 to 1994. Then it came into the ACCPAC Windows era from 1994 to 2012. And now we are in the Sage 300 era since 2012, where the UI has comprehensively improved, the user friendliness has improved, the web screens have been introduced, and accessibility has been granted over different platforms for many of the users for their ease of transactions. So just to give you a chronology of the Sage 300 versions. So some of you might be even on the 5.3s, the 5.5s of Sage 300 ACCPAC, but since 2015, you could notice that they have actually released a new version every single year. So even the Sage 300 2022 version was released recently, just a couple of days ago, I believe, for the partners. So that will also be shipped out to the clients very soon. So the 2022 version is just about around the corner for the use of the clients. But as you can see, these are the versions in chronological order of Sage 300, since it was known as Sage 300 ACCPAC as well. So you can just have a look at this, understand where your organization currently sits at. And if in case you are quite far behind, we believe that it is definitely the time now to look out for an upgrade with some of the latest versions that are currently there. In terms of the technology trends impacting, especially SMEs, I believe Sage caters to mainstream SMEs as well. You would definitely agree that there are new ways of working, that there are analytical and intelligence needs out there in the market and within the business industries. The need for real-time data and the mobility factor. So what Sage has done in the last couple of years, actually, with these new technology trends, they have introduced different processes. They have introduced different features and functionality that could help organizations actually be aligned with these trends, where remote work is concerned, in terms of having better data warehouses for business intelligence with the Sage 300 intelligence reporting, and also the mobility factor, where you can grant your users to access Sage from anywhere through the web screens as well. So just to give you a quick introduction of Sage as well, of course, for those who don't know about Sage, it is one of the most powerful accounting and financial management solutions that are out there in the market, and not just for the finance. It actually has evolved into a complete ERP as well, where you can cover many complex scenarios in terms of your operational and distribution needs as well within the organization. So it helps you helps your organization break down into departmental structures. You can tap into real-time data. Definitely work from anywhere, reduce whatever the inefficiencies, and integrate with any back office process that you have, if there is the API capability. So Sage 300, the newer versions or the latest versions, have the capability of integrating through APIs with other third-party solutions as well. So we can the possibility of growing your organization and having a complete spectrum with Sage being the core is possible right now. Just touching about the current core modules that are in place. Definitely most of you probably have these modules already set up, so I won't go into too much details here. We can touch about these in terms of once we're doing the demonstration. But in terms of the core accounting and financials, we have the general ledgers. We have the general ledgers, the accounts payables, consolidations, if there are, that's actually an extendable module. The intercompany transactions, if you are a group of companies, those can be processed right now. Obviously, the multi-currency and that module has improved comprehensively over the years as well. Improved bank services, tax services, and then the Sage cash view to monitor your cash flow. So just focusing a bit more about the core accounting and financials. So if you are looking to effectively manage your complex accounting and financial processes with a suitable solution and a very affordable solution, Sage 300 would definitely be the product for you. And if you're looking to, if you are already on Sage 300, if you are using an older version, definitely if you do upgrade your version to the latest versions, there are many more added benefits with, for example, the bank services has the cash book reconciliation and reports, which is quite phenomenal, and it helps and actually automates that entire process, where you can handle the bank reconciliation right through the platform as well. And also the intercompany transactions for any group companies. So if you are running on multiple databases with Sage 300 intercompany transactions, you can carry out those transactions with ease as well. So of course, the general ledger, you can maximize your efficiency with the accurate financial information. Then apart from standard general ledger functionalities that are available, you can manage up to 10 account segments and store up to 99 years of historical data. That is if you do purchase the premium suite of the Sage 300 licenses. But apart from that, you have the taxation module, which is very well streamlined. The GL consolidations also, as an added model, and also the account rollups, which and specifically, I think in terms of the finance managers, if there are any logged on today, the controllers. So in terms of report writing, Sales 300 has evolved a lot over the years. So compared to the different reports that were available in the previous versions, Sage 300 now has quite a few comprehensive standard reports that are available within the general ledger as well. So similarly, in the accounts payables also, you can effectively and efficiently and accurately process all your payables. For if within your organization, if you want to make sure that you have flexible cash disbursements, then rapid entry of vendor invoices, and also if you are to include the EFT payments module, which is actually an added module, that also is possible with Sage 300, where it seamlessly integrates with your AP accounts payable module, and where you can process electronic fund transfers right to your different identified bank accounts. Similarly, the accounts receivables also would help your organizations improve your day sales outstanding, the DSO ratios by faster money collection. And if you do want to view your real-time data, then definitely the accounts receivable account module of Sage 300 would facilitate this function for you. And apart from that, the very standard functionalities of Sage of the accounts receivable is captured within Sage 300, since it's has a very strong, foundation in terms of the accounting principles are concerned. But apart from that, transactions like applying cash to outstanding invoices, generate and send statements and invoices, all that can be handled from the new models. And what you would have been seen on the right-hand side is actually the new interfaces or the UI of Sage 300 of the web screens as well. I move into the desktop screens as well. But yes, you can see it's easy on your eye, and most of the functions are available on the web screens as well. So speaking a bit about the cash view, since we are still around the financial topic, so Sage Cash View actually enables your organization to bring in predictions and notifications and dashboards and reports in terms of your cash position. So you can predict and notify your users when you do meet in different thresholds as well. And in terms of alerts and notifications, you can trigger different email alerts on potential cash flow shortfalls from the system as well. So for example, if your cash flow management application has detected that you have met a particular threshold, you can definitely trigger email alert or notification going out to some of your all your key users to make sure that your cash flow has been brought back into the required standard or the required thresholds as well. So you can do quick follow-ups in terms of your accounts receivables as well, and make sure that your organization's cash position is back strong. So these features were not there back in the day in the older versions of Sage 300. So these have been introduced as well. And also sticking back onto the predictions and notifications, you have a few dashboards that are available within this cash view module, where you can have the day sales outstanding ratios and a few other widgets, just as they have mentioned here, like the cash conversion cycles and so on and so forth. So you can track your key performance indicators through this particular dashboard as well. In terms of the analysis and reports, again, these are a few other dashboards that are available within Sage 300, where you can, shortlist probably your top 10 outstanding customers and suppliers, and just view their cash positions and make sure that these reports once generating this report, that you can address the needs in terms of your cash flow a bit more appropriately and efficiently as well. So moving on to the distributions and operations, I'll not take too much time on this because there's a few more slides to go here. But yes, as you know, Sales 300 has a very strong inventory control. Not too sure whether all of the audience here is using the inventory control module, but if you aren't, and if you do track some of the inventory, if you are tracking inventory on a manual basis on a third-party solution, we would recommend you to be able to switch back into Sage 300's inventory control because it seamlessly integrates with the rest of the financial modules, the GLs, APs, and the ARs, and you can gain complete control over the outbound inventory transactions, inbound and outbound transactions as well. And there are a few other added modules that can be put on top of the inventory control module as well, like serialized inventories and lot trackings. We can introduce the approval workflows as well in terms of the purchase orders and the order entries and so on and so forth. So, but in a nutshell, within the inventory control module, you could perform the standard or the very much needed inventory control transactions, such as the multi-locations. You can track your stock levels, process inventories, and there are quite a few phenomenal reports that are available in the latest versions as well. Going back on to the purchase orders. So the purchase order module also has been improved over the last few releases as well, where you can track your vendors' best price terms and deliveries. You can perform multiple transactions as well. You can raise your automatical. You have a choice of 7 costing methods, including 2 alternative amounts. You can combine multiple purchase orders on a single receipt, and also, if the need is there to introduce those approval workflows for the purchase order, there are add-on modules that can introduce that. So if you do want to have that authority and control in terms of your procurement and purchasing functions within your organization, then it's high time that, if you all are not using the PO module, at least high time that you all do invest in the purchase order module and implement it, and then introduce those controls, because that would definitely be a lifesaver, and it will, within one platform, you'll be able to perform all of that as well. So the order entry also is very strong, very straightforward, and very comprehensive in terms of the functions that it can perform. And if you as an organization want to stay on top on your customer accounts and inventory levels and purchase histories, then definitely with the order entry module, you'll be able to get orders into the system quickly, upsell and cross-sell opportunities, and perform many sales related transactions within your order entry module as well. So the project and job costing module also is a very powerful tool. If you as an organization are running separate or isolated projects, and you are looking for a solution that can track all the different costs that are incurred for this particular project, and which is seamlessly integrated with the other financial modules as well, then the project and job costing module would definitely be the module for this particular requirement. So you can simplify your project management process. You can quickly identify different success factors, can easily manage your time, expenses, and purchases. And also it is tightly linked with different field services. So as in a nutshell, you will be able to actually quickly identify all these success factors and optimize your projects and contracts and make sure that you have proper control over your costs and the project visibility as well. So this global search actually is a new function that has come in one of the few of the last releases of Sage 300. So I won't spend too much time there, but it gives you the ability to actually do a search on a global search on different or within the Sage 300 solution as well. So it searches through different transactions, vendors, customers. You can You can filter out, you can filter in if you need, and it does a comprehensive search, which actually increases the collaboration. It increases the ease, the user friendliness of your organization and the users with this global search. So going back into the versions of the 5.5, 5.6, these functionalities were not available. So if you are on an older version, and if you want to have such facilities, then once you upgrade, you will definitely get your hands on such features and functionality as well. Similarly, for better collaboration, you can add notes. You can tag these notes for different items, different customers, different vendors as well. And once these notes have been added, you'll be able to actually, any user who logs into the system, if that particular item or vendor or customer has been picked up, these notes would pop up so that it could actually communicate very important information to the other users, instead of having to go over actually and probably drop a small note or drop a separate email. You can increase the collaboration within the platform as well. In terms of the visual processors, it's been some time that the visual processors have been introduced in Sage 300 as well, but definitely if you are not aware of visual processors, what it does is it actually visualizes most of these key transactions that you can see here. There are a few new transactions that have been already added in terms of the visual process flow, but it visualizes the transactions, and actually it can help navigation for the users. I'll just demonstrate that as well once I get to the platform. And also in the last few releases, you are able to actually access multiple companies using a single LAMP pack. So that actually is an added benefit to most of the organizations that or group companies, if any of you all are logged in here, to be able to access multiple company databases with one single LAMP pack as well. And also, if you do have multiple entries, you could and data. I mean, if you do have multiple entities, you'll be able to actually color code the different windows so that you can actually minimize the mistakes in terms of your multi-company transactions as well. Next, I have a short video.
Do you spend hours manually exporting and customizing reports for your business and then stand the risk of inaccuracies caused by incorrect entry of formulas and data? Sage Intelligence Reporting provides automatic financial and management reports at the click of a button. Using up-to-date, reliable data directly from your accounting or ERP package, Sage Intelligence Reporting delivers a single version of the truth in a pre-formatted Excel report. View your reports in 3 simple steps. 1. Open the Sage Intelligence Report Manager and select the report you would like to view. 2. Run the report at the click of a button. 3. Enter your report parameters. Now you can spend your time making sense of your information, giving you the confidence to make informed business decisions. For more details, you can easily drill down on your report. You can then customize the report to suit your business's unique requirements using your existing Excel skills to edit the report accordingly and then save your changes for future use. Once complete, you have the option to share your report via email, uploading it to an FTP site, or saving it to a file in a format of your choice, improving team collaboration. No longer do you have to base your business decisions on gut feel or manually collate your data in an Excel workbook to make sense of it. Put an end to spreadsheet chaos and improve reporting across your business with Sage Intelligence Reporting.
As the video mentioned, the business intelligence and reporting of Sage 300 is quite well developed right now, and it gives you the ability to actually convert some of your most important financial reports into visualizer, and it's actually shareable via Excel as well. and you can create different and financial reports, drag and drop with those tools, run reports off the click of the button. So some of those features have been introduced in some of the latest versions of Sage 300. Moving on, so yes, as you know, there are few licenses that are involved with the Sage 300 intelligent reporting as the report manager, report viewer, and report designer. But if you do have a need for this, please do reach out to us, and definitely we will assist you all with introducing this business intelligence aspect of Sage 300 into your landscape. It does come with the latest releases as well. It's there as an available module. If it is needed, it can be implemented as well. So Sage 300 Intelligence actually has a report utility just like any other App Store or Google Play Store. The Sage Intelligence Store you would be able to actually use any of these reports that have been predefined, pre-customized. So it just by the click of a button, you can actually open those reports, and then it would get plugged in with your databases. It would use the transactions and the data that is within your databases and visualize those reports. So from this different from the templates that are available, there are close to about 300 templates, I think, that are available in terms of the report utility. So from there, in different areas, you will be able to perform some of these reports within the business intelligence module of Sage 300. In terms of the mobility with Sage 300, as I was mentioning time and time again, now we have obviously the Sage 300 Web UI. So this is what the Web UI does look like with your login screens as well. So it's a bit more sleek than the classic desktop version as well. And you have a new home page as well, where you can have different dashboards and widgets that are added. You can have up to 6 customized widgets on your landing page of your web home screen, which actually can communicate a lot of vital information for your users as well. So you can pick and choose. I'll quickly demonstrate that as well. And just like that, in terms of the desktop version as well, now it looks a bit more cleaner in terms of in comparison to the older versions of Sage 300, where you have the modules on the left-hand side, and the UI has been made a bit more minimalistic, and actually the new icons as well, which makes the solution look much better. So yes, I think this is what most of the people have been waiting for as well. A quick demo of Sage 300. So let me stop sharing and get Sage 300 Enterprise up and running. On your left-hand side, and as I mentioned in the presentation, based on the different companies, you can actually color code the top ribbons of your Sage 300 as well, just in case you have multi companies. And with one LAN pack, as you can see like this, you can access multiple entities as well. So here I've just created 3 different sample companies for this demonstration. So just like that, you can access multiple entities if needed. And the left-hand navigation would actually have all the modules, the various modules. So the setups where you can do those have already been in place. I'm pretty sure most of the users here would have a bit of an idea about the main module, but let me just demonstrate some of the new features that are there. So in terms of the intelligence reporting, which we just touched base. So here you can, if you go into the report viewer, you'll be able to actually visualize many reports as well. Not too sure whether I'm sharing my entire screen here, but
yes, John, we can see the entire screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, John. I think you might have to share this entire screen.
Entire screen, right? Yeah.
Yes, because part of the window dialog boxes are not appearing.
Okay, got it. I think now it should be fine.
It is. It is.
Okay, so just as I just did earlier, I just clicked with the click of a button, I was able to just actually go through some of the reports from the report viewer, predefined reports here, and it basically just got converted into an Excel sheet. So as a financial controller, as a user, if you need to generate such a report, you will be able to quickly utilize the Sales 300 business intelligence and then convert. And here as well, you can actually filter out the way you want. So for example, if these top 5 customers, you can actually maybe based on the values, say you can remove a few other customers, you can customize it the way you want as well. And just like this, many other reports also do get generated onto Excel, where you probably, if you want to use it in your annual reports or any of your presentation documents, you'll be able to just take the snips from here, or even you can copy paste already, or you can share this entire Excel sheet with some of your users or the management for better decision making as well. So that is what the intelligence reporting tool looks like. So you have the report manager as well. So here where you can based on different modules, if it is in terms of the inventory, the purchases, you can actually create different reports as well. And then you can store that. Let me just quickly navigate to the report utility. Close that. Report that. About that, guys. But this is where the Sales Intelligence Reporting Utility for Sales 300 is what I was talking about. So it just gets plugged in as a separate actually application here. And from here, you can go through all of these reports, and whatever you feel that might be right, you can add it into your organization. And then from that point on, you can, it's a matter of it gets added into your report viewers here, and then you can generate those reports from that point on. In terms of the global search, as I mentioned here, you can actually search through different transactions. You can filter out whether you want it within different transactions. So if you are aware of a particular transaction ID or maybe a invoice number, you can actually search that. For example, I am aware of a particular client's name. So I just, as I click, even with a few other characters, it opens this particular client. So I can straight away go into the client interface here and the client screen. So this is the global search. So similarly, you can, if for example, if you are just PO00, so there is no PO number there. So if you just want to search through a PO number, if you do remember any of these numbers or the PO number, you can quickly search into that, and then you can actually go into these different batch entries or that particular screen. If you don't want to go search through all of these areas, you can actually just tick them off and then only search within those modules as well. So the global search actually has been a very needed tool for Sales 300 in the last couple of releases. It has only improved. And if you are in need of such a feature, and if you're on an older version, definitely once you upgrade, you'll have access to that as well. Similarly, the other function that I want to speak to you about was the notes function. So here again, you can have different notes. You can search notes by the customers if there are any particular notes, or you can actually add a particular note. So for example, let's just create a note. Hypothetically, you can select it for maybe one particular customer. Let me just set it for the country yard. And once you add it, you can have it active from, if you want to have it active for separate dates, you can do that as well. And once you have created it, what would happen next is, if you do go and search that customer in the accounts receivable, for example, if you're trying to perform a transaction, or if you actually open that customer, country. So I think that note didn't get saved earlier, but let me just add another note from here. Okay. So that I think the previous node got selected to the wrong customer. That's what happened. So now if I actually go and filter here, so you can see that node that just popped up here for that particular customer as well. And if I actually select this particular customer, I put the node, so you can see the node that I just entered just came up here. So this actually increases the collaboration within the users as well. So for any user that is logged in, now I'm logged in as administrator, but for any user that is using is actually using this customer would be able to collaborate. So that nodes functionality is actually added benefit for most of the users as well. And in terms of the areas where you can actually add the notes, you can add it for the customers, vendors, and inventory items for the moment. But definitely, these three elements are some of the key elements that are used for transactions, obviously in Sage 300. But as time goes on, I'm pretty sure the notes functionality would be added to other areas as well. But in terms of the inventory items, if you list a note for that particular inventory item, as soon as a purchase order, as soon as an order entry or even a receipt is done for a particular item, that note, if there's a relevant note for that particular item, that would pop up for that particular user, which can increase the navigation of that within the platform as well. So moving on to the desktop version here. As I mentioned, this is the new UI. So let me just change my date with the date I have for the moment. And if I actually just refresh these titles as an user, you would be able to make sure that your data is up to date and synced. Just like that, you can customize your dashboard. And just as the desktop version, you can see here, it's just similarly to all the modules that you have on the web screens. Also, you have all those features and functionalities. The core features and functionalities that are available of Sage 300 are available in the desktop version, in the web screens as well. In terms of your bank services, the common services, the general ledgers, inventory controls as well. All of that is available. So this is what the UI of the web screens look like. You can add and remove any other widgets that you don't want. For example, if you are not interested in the cash position and want to bring the payables agent, that you can do, or you can bring in the activity trends, just like that. With you can customize up to 6 different widgets on your home screen of your web screen, on your web screens as well. And also, just like the desktop version, you have the notes functionality. You can do the inquiries again. You can have the notes and the global search. All of that is available. And then you have the standard reports. If you had linked any reports here, you'll be able to generate those reports as well. So that is a bit about the UI improvements in terms of the latest versions of Sage 300. So as Sage 300 2022 version also has been shipped out for the partners, you will be able to, once it's been implemented, you will definitely be able to, you should get your hands on it, I would say, and be able to actually get access to some of these great features and functionality that are available. So let me just go back to the desktop version, and within common services, I think this has been a big challenge for most of the organizations as well. So in bank services, I mean, earlier in the previous versions, you were not able to perform some of the reconciliation statements. So here within Sage 300 now, you are actually able to perform reconciliations as well. So let me just run that. So you can, it's a matter of selecting a bank here. You set your statement date, we say for the 30th of July, and then the general ledger date, and then once you do the reconciliation, whatever that has been posted here, you can do a quick run through what are the available transactions for that particular bank as well. So in terms of your reconciliation, it will be very easy for you from one screen itself to be able to perform some of the transactions within the banking services as well. Apart from that, you have you can link your credit card types for within your banking services as well. You can have your distribution codes, and then these are some of the key transactions. You can do your bank transfers, but if you do want to bring in the EFT transfers as well through the accounts payable, that would be an added module which can be easily implemented. And in terms of the tax services, definitely you have your tax classes, authorities, and the groups that you can create. There are quite a few standard tax reports that you can generate as well. And in terms of reporting, of course, ZILLIONe, we have been consulting in search for the last almost 30 years now. So we have a strong reporting background as well. So if you do have any requests in terms of customizations, we'll be able to work on those as well during the upgrade progress of Sage 300. So this was the other new feature. If most of you all have not had access to such a module as yet in your older version. So with Sage 300, the visual process, you are able to actually visualize some of the transactions. So if, for example, if I just click on the bank and reconciliation, so if you want to add bank entries, you just a matter of actually clicking on these buttons here, and it actually opens up those particular screens. Similarly, if you're on an AP payment, obviously on an IC transaction, you want to receive items and you are not too sure as to which module you need to use to receive those items, or if you just want to be quick and move into a particular place, you can just click through the visual process flows. You can visualize the transaction and then just navigate through different screens as well. So like that, you can trans inventories. It opens the trans in IC transfers window. If you want to run a few reports, for example, just the transaction history report, it opens the transfer. So it has visualized most of the transactions, key transactions within Sage 300 as well. So let me just quickly do, apart from some of the transactions or the areas that I just quickly showed you in the previous slides and even in the demonstration, some of the new features or the most needed features that have been addressed in Sage 2022 releases. One is that the financial reporter now supports Microsoft Excel 64-bit as well. Also, entering negative additional costs in PO credit notes. So for example, if you when entering a credit note on a PO credit or debit note entry screen, you are able to now enter negative amounts for cost on the additional cost tabs as well. So for example, if you are performing any shipping or restocking fees you paid as a result of returning an item, then you can use with the new improvements in Sage 300 2022, you would be able to actually enter the negative cost as well. Apart from that, you can easily set up the expected arrival dates and locations for all details on purchase orders. Then you can similarly for order entries also, you can easily set up the expected shipping dates as well. And also if there are key users within Sage 300, that is another improvement where you can reserve a land pack license for a specific user. So you would know that Sage is currently a concurrent basis. It's not name users, but if in case you do want to reserve a particular user license for a particular employee within your organization, a key resource, that reservation also is there. And also it has improved the banking feeds within Sage 300 as well in the 2022, and then Sage Data and Analytics as I just showed you in the business intelligence, there are many new reports and new slicing and dicing tools or techniques that they have used to generate some of these visualizable reports in terms of the Sage Business Intelligence as well. So those are all the new features and functionalities, not all, but some of the key features and functionalities that have been added in terms of the Sage 2022 version. And in terms of the web screens also, there is a new list, reminder list within the web screens. Then the chart of accounts has been improved for the web screens. So if you are interested in only using the web screens, then still with the web screens and these new added features, you'll definitely be able to get the most out of it as well. The new customer AR customer list has a new web screen. Project and job costing now has a new web screen. Earlier it had only the desktop version, but it has a few new web screens as well. And in as a whole, it has a new and improved web screen UI as well. So the simple question as to why an upgrade is recommended. So as consultants of ZILLIONe business solutions, and since we have been in the industry, we have seen time in and time out again that many customers face difficulties when they are on the older version. Sometimes the reporting might not be as strong as they want, because the businesses would grow, the industries would grow. But if you haven't made that leap, if you have not made the change for the newer versions of a particular solution, any particular solution that in that manner, you would feel the repercussions of that. So this is why we recommend Sage 300 to be upgraded, so that you can be in line with the technology. You can access some of the new improved features. It is compatible with other applications as well. So I'll be touching on that very soon, because Sage 300 already has about 300 different add-ons within the market. And some of these new add-ons that have been introduced, which are very business critical and adds a lot of value to the organizations, are now compatible with the latest versions of Sage 300 as well. It has increased its user friendliness, its accessible and mobility factor in terms of remote working and the web screens and the web UIs, and being able to work remotely. Considering that, we would definitely recommend you to move into the upgrades, as well as in terms of reporting and BI. There has been a lot of improvements. There are many standard reports. I mean, we don't have to even go into some customization, because some of the standard reports actually cover most of the valuable information that you enter into Sage 300 as an output of a report or a business intelligence dashboard through the Sage Intelligence as well. So just to give you a quick glimpse, so we just did a quick comparison actually in terms of within the last decade. So from Sage 300 2012 to Sage 2022. So as you can see, back in 2022, they had just had the standard desktop versions, and 2012, the standard desktop screens on the left hand side, and it is somewhere around 2012 only they introduced the visual process flows as well. But it was just a mere process flow that they had introduced. Now it has improved tremendously, and it has actually increased the user friendliness of the solution as well. Back in the day, it actually had easy access to operational data with enhancing query capabilities, but now it has improved even more. So the data activation pop-up screen was introduced back in 2012. Then the standard inventory transaction. So if you are looking at the older versions of Sage, apart from the very basic or the core standard functionality that is available on 2012 or versions prior to that, now in Sage version 2022, you could see there's a tremendous improvement in the web screens, and it's supported actually in multiple browsers as well. The intelligence has improved. You can actually have budget maintenance. One of the key areas I think most of the IT managers was also facing the fact that they had to have a 32-bit for Excel to actually run the reports of the financial report, and now the 2022 version supports the Excel 64-bit. Then you can you have confirmation requests with fractional quantities that is enabled within Sage 300 2022. It's compatible with many printers. It has a comprehensive bank reconciliation, increased collaboration, and you can reserve land packs for a particular user. Apart from the UI and UX improvements within Sage 300 as well. So when upgrading from an older version, a few key areas that you might quickly need to have a look at is, for example, if you are on a version older than 5.6, Sage recommends the steps actually we need to upgrade. If you're, for example, if you're on 5.2, you would need to upgrade to 5.3, 5.4. and 5.5, and then from 5.6, once you get to 5.6, you can actually upgrade it to the latest version of 2022. That is mainly due to the improvements and the structures within the tables and the architecture and the technical improvements that are a bit difficult to be replicated in the newer versions compared to the older versions. And then so for example, if you're on a 5.6, you can directly upgrade to 2022, and with the 2022, automatically the following programs actually do get installed as well. So as an organization, I was mentioning, I think a few slides before, about the fact that you need to, if you are looking to scale, or if you are looking to bring in the best out of your Sage 300 landscape, and if you feel that some of the modules that are there, the standard modules, might not facilitate your requirements, we have actually identified a few key add-on modules that can add a lot of value to your organization as well. So one is the Audit Logger. It provides auditing features and for changes to any Sage 300 transaction and the master database. So any transaction, be it a journal entry or a purchase order, any changes that happen, if you do have the Pacific Text Audit Logger add-on implemented, you can capture user actions, you can audit and configure all transactions, and it has comprehensive reporting as well. So this is a very strong module. We have implemented a couple of times as well to some of our clients. It actually helps and eases the auditing processes within the organization, because it gives you complete awareness and of all the changes that have happened, or the transactions that have been posted within Sage 300 as well. Another similar module that is there is the Resource Manager by Normin. So these are all actually ISV partners, so their development happens on SDK level, which once the module has been implemented, you actually wouldn't even notice the difference of the modules on Sage 300 due to the SDK development as well. But one really important module, add-on module, we are recommending heavily for most of our clients as well these days, is the Resource Manager, because the fact that it has a mobile-based application as well and a web-based application as well, and it is seamlessly integrated with Sage 300. So if you do want to bring in the approval workflows, if you want to do different expense tracking, and if you do want to go through your the purchase orders, introduce the workflows that are needed for within Sage 300, then Normin Resource Manager would be able to facilitate that, from your purchase requisitions to purchase orders to the receipts. Then apart from that, your expenses as well, all that can be tracked within Sage 300 on the interfaces of Normin Resource Manager, and it's tightly integrated with Sage 300 as well. So Normin actually has another product which is called the Fixed Asset Management Suite, where if you want to carry out any transactions with related to your assets, your fixed asset, be it your asset accounting, whether it's your asset leasing, asset maintenance, and asset tracking, you'll be able to use the Normin Fixed Asset Management Suite, which is again tightly integrated and implemented with Sage 300. Actually, on my the demo screen that I was there on the left hand side navigation, if you did notice, you had the Fixed Asset Management module as well as the Resource Manager module. So it does look and feel the same just as Sage 300, just that it brings in a lot of added benefits and captures a few other areas that are not catered by the standard Sales 300 modules as well. Another particular module that we would like to propose here is the EFT processing, where if you want to automate some of your electronic fund transfers directly from Sales 300, Orchid Systems has a really well-developed EFT processing module, which is seamlessly integrated with your AP module as well, and as well as the GLs. So in terms of making these automatically creating EFT files, you would be able to use the EFT processing module as well, and also handle remittance advices be mailed using the Sales 300 ERP functionality as well. So it does have a few approval processes included as well. So with the EFT module, you will be able to introduce that as well. And following on one of the other solutions that we have is the document attachment. So as an organization, if you are looking to actually go paperless, and Sage 300 actually currently doesn't have the facility to upload or download particular documents within Sage 300. If you do want to have any supporting documents uploaded, the document attachment module of Creatrix would definitely facilitate that. And many organizations that are using Sage 300 who are looking to actually move into a paperless environment has started implementing this great document attachment module of Creatrix. These are all ISV certified partners of Sage 300, and these are very recognized add-on modules in case you want to actually take on your organization to the next level within Sage 300 as well. And in terms of another module, it is the Techniques of Service Manager module, which is actually an award-winning module within the Sage ecosystem as well. So for example, if you do want to, if your organization does have any service-related activities that have been performed, be it whether you all are running a service center or whether you all have a large fleet of operations that need or machinery that needs servicing, with the Service Manager module, you will be able to actually track all the warranties, the manufacturers, run preventive maintenance, have some equipment management tools as well within Sage 300 by the introduction of the service with the Service Manager module as well. So in summary, just to summarize everything that we just went through today. So with the new introductions of Sage 300 and the newer versions of Sage 300, if you are on the older versions, I'm talking probably 5.3, 5.5, even 5.8 for that matter, the UI has tremendously changed within Sage 300. So, and its cloud readiness factor has actually enabled many organizations to take that next step within the industry, within this new working environment as well. So Sage 300 promotes the newer versions of Sage 300 to achieve these areas within your organization as well. And it has its real-time analytical capability has improved over the years. Mobility, as I mentioned, you can access it from anywhere, and plus with many add-on modules as well, having different mobile capabilities, the mobile apps as well as the web screens within those add-on modules as well. It has increased the mobility factor within Sage 300, and also speaking of that, the vast range of extended solutions for Sage 300 is now available within and compatible with the latest versions of Sage 300 as well. So we as business consultants would definitely recommend your organization to take that step to make that change and come up to date with the latest versions of Sage 300 as well. And just to speak a few about our success stories in the last couple of years in terms of the upgrades, to be honest, we do close to about 15 to 20 upgrades a year for all our clients. But these are some of the notable success stories, and some stories I would say mainly because they did have few other solutions as well that needed to be upgraded with them and be integrated. In some instances, they were only using the financial modules, but since the businesses had grown to such an extent, we upgraded those landscapes and brought in the required additional modules and the operational modules as well as the add-on modules as well to completely cater to their business requirements. So for example, ABC Pharma had upgraded from the 6.2 version, the Maximus upgraded from a 6.5 version, Extra actually upgraded from a 5.4 version, Stretchline from a 5.5 version, and MD Gunasena from 5.4. So there were quite a few challenges as an organization that we were able to help mitigate with these upgrades. Some of the core business challenges, I mean, in terms of the technology, in terms of the processes, in terms of the automation. But with the upgrades, we were able to bring all these organizations and many more. We actually bring about 15 organizations a year onto the latest version. And we would like to help all of you who are logged in here if you all are interested in upgrading to the latest version. And for all those who have logged in today, and for taking your time and for being a part of this session, and if since you all do have the need for the upgrade, I believe if you all do have the need, if you all do sign up with us before the 31st of December 2021, we can offer you a 20% discount for your upgrade in terms of the upgrade costs as well. So that is a great offer, I believe. And as you can see, I'm pretty sure you are on the same page with me in terms of the new features and the functionality that can transform your organization. So if you all are interested, do have your discussions and then get back to us, and we could definitely look into upgrading your organizations and bringing you all to the latest versions of Sage 300. I think that concludes the presentation and the demonstration. The floor is open for questions. Stefan, if there are any questions, I believe there should be quite a few questions. We could answer them now.
Yes, thank you, John, for sharing your valuable knowledge and insight with us. So, well, we do have a few questions here, and Danishka, would you be able to answer a few questions? Which one
yes,
of the
Stefan.
would be one of the questions would be to please clarify the user accessibility in Sage 300, and also is it named users?
No, it's concurrent users. That means when you get a license, basically you are able to access all the modules. And say a company has 10 user licenses, it can be installed even to 20 or 30 licenses. As soon as one person log out, another person can log in. So any given point of time, only 10 people will be able to log in. Those are concurrent users, unlike name users. That's how Sage 300 works.
Okay, thank you for that, Danishka. And also, we do have another question where one of the attendees are asking about the cost of the upgrade. What would be the cost of the upgrade?
Yeah, cost of upgrade depends on many parameters. Like sometimes an organization uses multiple companies, legal entities, or the databases, and it can be quite a larger database as well. I mean, about few years they have been using. So conversion time, the issues can come up during the upgrade process because it's quite a tedious process. When we do the upgrade, we have to make sure the data we are converting would be in the latest version also, nothing being lost in the middle. So and also the number of modules, and one important thing would be what's the version. Definitely if the customer comes us to upgrade from the bit of a later the recent version, I would say 2018, 2019 to 2022, then the effort would be less. But if someone is coming from 5.5, 5.6, effort could be higher, but still we normally we consider upgrade this as essential thing of the customer engagement and also the landscape of overall Sage functionality usage. So we charge bare minimum and only for the efforts and try to give that pricing as low as possible.
Okay. Thank you for that. And also, I believe John spoke about the approval levels in Sage 300. So in this case, what is the solution for that? Like in terms of the approval levels, like if you could just give a brief about that.
Yes, I think John a bit explained about the resource manager. This is one of the fantastic addition where we can configure any of the approvals. Sage 300 standard modules not provide direct approval method, but this resource manager is another add-on done on the SDK. So when someone require approvals for the procurement function, it can be accounts payable function or the payment processing. All those things can be configured according to the customers or the process needed. It is quite a comprehensively done because even value-based approvals are there, and also it is compatible with mobile as well. So all the approvals can be directed to a mobile app too. So that to that level you can go with Sage 300 approvals.
Okay, and well, we do have another question where it asks about the new version and its compatibility. Is it available in the SaaS model?
Yes, there's an option where you can have Sage 300 SaaS model, actually not in as a SaaS model where you can put it into directly in the cloud, but there's a subscription model. In the licensing, you are not required to outright purchase it as a perpetual licenses, but as OPEX model, paying annual subscription, that option is available. Still, that hosting has to happen by either by the customer in their, it can be on premise or even cloud. That hosting has to happen. It's not completely you are accessing the cloud service.
Okay, right. And also we do have another question where one of the participants asks, he states that is the new version strong in terms of the customization and the flexibility? For example, is it inbuilt or crystal report? If you can just give a brief about that.
Yes, few things, notable things with regard to the flexibility side, especially these web screens. There's quite a number of functions where we can even do the changes in the field names, hide the fields, sometimes using these optional fields, the adding new fields, and of course always that crystal reports is quite a flexible tool to do customized reports. More than that, Sage Intelligence, that business intelligence report, also a customized tool, mostly inbuilt with the Excel functionalities.
Okay, and in terms of the implementation, the data backup in Sage 300, I believe it's the new version. So do we need to do a manual backup, or are there any sort of solutions for it?
Yeah, there are a couple of things to that. Normally, when the backup is required, it's feasible to automate the Microsoft SQL backup. So always periodically, let's say daily or twice per day, that SQL can be automated the backup and saved it into a particular location. It can be synced to the cloud. That's quite a common method currently being used. Apart from that, there are some very good solutions hand-to-hand work with Sage 300 and the databases. ZILLIONe also offers Acronis such kind of a solution. It's backup and disaster recovery solution. Always, if someone is having a requirement, they can contact with the account manager. We recently introduced this Acronis. It's #1 cloud backup and disaster recovery solution that also can be used as a automated process.
Okay. And also we have another question which came up where we talked about the web screens. So we talked about how web screens add value to us. So using the web screens, what are the advantages of the web screens? And also in terms of in differentiating from using the desktop version, and also can we access the new latest Sage 300 through mobile?
Yes, it's something like this. When you say web screens, when you're accessing it outside, now all we are in the normal current normal of the after the pandemic. Everybody works from home or probably outside their offices. So accessing the system has been a challenge. But here with Sage 300, we have both methods. Now people are used to work with server and the workstation architecture, that's desktop version. Then there's another method, that's the hybrid, the web screen. So when it comes to the web screen, the beauty of that, all the functionalities of the system, it can be in your on-premise, it can be even hosted in cloud, even the current on-premise one. If you have upgraded, it can be published through a web portal or the web function. That means when you are at home in your browser, it can be Chrome, Firefox, or even Safari, you will be able to access the system. So you are not required to use a direct VPN or not to use spend separately on a lease line, because through the server end, once it published to a web as a normal website, you are able to work on the system. So that is the one of the key advantage using the web screen. Otherwise, users or the companies have to spend on the VPN, remote desktop licenses. It can be quite troublesome when you try to log into the VPN. All those nitty-gritties can be minimized when we are using the web screens. Answering to that question of mobile friendly, yes, it's not completely coming to the mobile as a directly all the functions. There are certain functions in the mobile, and also ZILLIONe has developed one of the mobile app to the Sage 300. You can inquire from your account manager. We are ready to provide our existing customers to offer that FOC to use, because it gives some kind of a important information with regard to the accounts payable, receivable, and some cash transactions. It can come handy with your mobile integration.
Okay, thank you for that. And also, I believe, well, during the session, we covered that the intelligence report and the financial report and dashboards will be available in the latest versions. Could you comment on that as well, Tanushka?
Yes, that is one of the things we have been inquired by a lot of IT managers, especially. Sage has one of the limitation earlier. When I say earlier, up to 2021, all these versions, when you want to use financial reporter, it will be working only on the 32-bit Excel, Microsoft Excel. So sometimes, most cases, the organization, they are using Microsoft Excel 64-bit. Only for this purpose, they have to install different Excel version to the user machine. This is something quite a headache for the IT managers and the people who are really supporting on that aspect. So that has been that problem has been streamlined or removed in 2022 version. It's one of the major improvement where without having 32-bit, financial reporter can be directly used on the 64-bit Excel in 2022 version.
Okay, thank you for that. And we have a few more questions with regards to the cost of certain modules and certain add-ons. So we have a question where they ask the Audit Logger, how much will it cost? The Gatrix module, how much will it cost? Are you in a position to tell the cost, or?
Not to give the price at the moment, because sometimes these prices are changing based on the price list and size of the organization. I mean, the version they are using, premium or advanced and something like that. So best thing would be contacting one of our account manager for that.
Okay, thank you for that. And also, is there any possibility of getting the VAT input and also output scheduled as per the IRD format in ACCPAC Sage 300?
Of course, most of our existing customers, they are using that functionality because VAT input and output, everything being captured at the source, properly recorded. It's simply matter of doing the reporting using Crystal or something. At the moment, our customers are using these functions.
Okay, and one final question. We do have one final question. A question where it states, is there any approval level for the order entry module?
Yeah, this has to be bit elaborated because we can configure an approval for the order entry module. There is because there are different transactions, there are orders, quotations, shipments, and order entry invoices. So if someone is clearly looking for order entry approval, it probably we might be able to do with custom requisition approval model of norm in resource manager, or again we have extender version of ORCID systems. Using these two tools, one of those tools, we are able to provide an approval for the order entry module using the Sage 300 SDK itself. That is something achievable or the doable.
Okay, thank you so much, Danushka, for your valuable insight with us. So, well, are there any more questions or can we conclude this session? Okay, so well, I would like to thank our participants and our audience and for the questions and their kind attention and time. So hopefully this session has brought in new knowledge and adds value. And thank you for joining. So please feel free to contact us for any clarifications based on today's sessions. So thank you and have a good day.